last night.
Shut the f up.
My
You
bad.
don't have to say
My
baby.
bad. Oh, okay, you're right. Shout out to the young lady that cooked last night.
The next day.
Child, now y'all know when your mama tell you something, you better listen. You around and be hemmed up somewhere. Now y'all know good and damn well I tried to help him the first time and I tried to help him this time.
This didn't start as a rumor. It started like a match dropped in gasoline. One minute the internet was minding its business, and the next minute Karlissa allegedly went nuclear. Unloading on Nevaeh with accusations so loud they echoed across every timeline. And once the words "putting hands on him" hit the air, everything stopped being entertainment and turned into a full-blown internet emergency. Because when a mother steps into her son's relationship drama, the gloves don't come off slowly. They come off swinging. Fans didn't know whether to gasp, grab popcorn, or start checking timestamps like this was a true crime breakdown. Screenshots spread, reactions piled up. And suddenly everyone had the same question. Did something really happen behind closed doors? Or is this another chapter in the never-ending saga surrounding Blueface? This wasn't a calm disagreement. This was outrage with capital letters. Accusations wrapped in emotion, history, and a whole lot of unresolved tension. And once Karlissa's voice entered the chat, the situation stopped being private immediately. Because nothing explodes faster than family drama mixed with alleged violence and social media. Nothing about this situation felt like casual internet noise. And that's exactly why it detonated so fast. This wasn't a vague rumor whispered into comment sections or a cryptic post that needed decoding. It was loud, emotional, and came straight from a mother who sounded fed up beyond restraint. The moment Karlissa allegedly accused Nevaeh of putting hands on her son, the internet stopped scrolling and started choosing sides. Karlissa has never been known for being subtle. And anyone familiar with her online presence knows she doesn't package her feelings neatly. When she speaks, it's raw, reactive, and unapologetic. But even by her standards, this accusation landed differently. Allegations involving physical altercations aren't messy drama, they're serious claims that instantly shift the conversation into dangerous territory. The timing alone made people uneasy. This didn't come out of nowhere, and fans knew it. Tension around Blueface and his relationships has been simmering for a long time, bubbling under layers of online chaos. When Karlissa allegedly stepped in, it felt like a pressure valve snapping. Rather than a random outburst, the internet doesn't miss moments like that. Reactions hit in waves, and the first wave was pure shock. People replayed clips, reread quotes, and checked timestamps like they were watching a live investigation unfold. The phrase "putting hands on him" carried weight that no amount of sarcasm could soften. That's not shade, that's an accusation. That changes how everyone listens. Almost immediately, the audience split into camps. One side rallied behind Karlissa, framing her as a mother doing what mothers do when they believe their child has been crossed. To them, her anger felt justified, even overdue. The other side slammed the brakes, warning against treating allegations as facts, especially when emotions are clearly running high. That divide hardened fast. The history surrounding Blueface only poured gasoline on the fire. His romantic life has never been quiet, stable, or handled privately. Fans are conditioned to expect chaos whenever his name trends. But this wasn't a girlfriend rant or a leaked argument. This was family stepping into the spotlight with serious claims, and that raised the stakes instantly. Nevaeh became the center of speculation without saying a word. Silence in moments like this is dangerous because it lets everyone else control the narrative. Some viewers took the lack of response as guilt, others as shock, and others as a smart refusal to engage. The truth didn't matter as much as perception, and perception, online moves faster than facts ever could. Screenshots and clips began circulating almost immediately. Every word Karlissa allegedly said was replayed, clipped, and reshared with different captions depending on who was posting it. Group chats exploded, reaction channels went live, and comment sections turned into digital courtrooms. Once the internet smells confrontation, it puts everyone on trial at the same time. What made this moment especially volatile was Karlissa's tone. Viewers described it as emotional, forceful, and fueled by anger that felt deeply personal. That kind of delivery doesn't invite calm discussion, it demands reaction. Supporters called it righteous fury, critics called it reckless escalation. Either way, it guaranteed attention. Blueface's position in all of this added another layer of tension. When the alleged victim is also a public figure with a complicated history, people project their own conclusions instantly. Some framed him as trapped between loyalty and control. Others questioned the entire situation based on past drama. His silence became another piece of evidence people argued over. Even though silence proves nothing, the accusations didn't just spark outrage. They reopened old wounds, past arguments, family disputes, and messy moments were dragged back into the spotlight. Fans started connecting dots. Whether those dots actually belong together or not, once the internet decides there's a pattern, it digs until it finds one. What started as a single allegation quickly ballooned into a referendum on everyone involved. Karlissa's parenting was questioned, Nevaeh's character was dissected, Blueface's relationship choices were dragged through the mud again. Everyone was judged simultaneously. And nuance disappeared almost instantly. Even people who thrive on celebrity chaos admitted this. Felt uncomfortable. Allegations of physical altercations aren't entertaining, they're alarming. The energy shifted from gossip to concern in some corners, while others leaned harder into outrage. That clash made the entire conversation unstable. The lack of immediate clarification only added to the volatility. No calm statement stepped in to slow the narrative. No clear timeline appeared to ground the discussion. In that vacuum, speculation grew louder. The internet hates unanswered questions, and it fills them aggressively. What made this phase especially dangerous was how quickly emotion overtook logic. Supporters of Karlissa treated her words as undeniable truth. Critics dismissed them as emotional exaggeration. Both sides spoke with certainty, and neither side had verified information. That's how online conflicts escalate beyond control. The situation stopped being about one alleged incident and started being about power, boundaries, and who gets believed. Those conversations are always explosive, especially when filtered through celebrity culture. People weren't just reacting to what was said, they were reacting to their own experiences, biases, and assumptions. As the noise grew, one thing became impossible to ignore. This wasn't going to disappear quietly. Once a mother publicly accuses a partner of crossing physical lines, the story doesn't fade. It multiplies, mutates, and drags everyone connected into the spotlight. This wasn't the climax of the drama. It was the ignition point. And as reactions continued to stack, emotions escalated, and narratives hardened. The fallout was only beginning to take shape. Once the initial shock wore off, the situation didn't cool down, it combusted. The internet shifted from reacting to investigating, and that's when things got messy. People stopped asking what was said and started asking what it meant. When online audiences move into detective mode, nuance gets tossed out like yesterday's trends. Memes appeared faster than facts because humor is how the internet processes discomfort. Screenshots of Karlissa's alleged statements were paired with reaction images, dramatic sound effects, and captions dripping in sarcasm. Some treated it like reality television gone off script, others like a true crime teaser that dropped without warning. Either way, the situation became content before it could become clarity. Reaction channels jumped in almost immediately. Every creator with an opinion hit record, breaking down tone, timing, and body language like this was a courtroom analysis. Some painted Karlissa as a mother in survival mode, acting out of pure instinct. Others framed her as escalating a volatile situation in the most public way possible. The takes were loud, confident, and wildly contradictory. Public outrage didn't move in one direction. It split and doubled back on itself. One corner of the internet demanded accountability and safety, insisting allegations like these should never be dismissed. Another corner warned about trial by social media, reminding everyone that accusations aren't convictions. The comment sections became battlegrounds where everyone believed they were standing on moral high ground. Nevaeh remained silent, and that silence became its own storyline in internet culture. Silence is never neutral. Some viewers interpreted it as guilt, others as shock, and others as the smartest possible move in a no-win situation. The absence of a response allowed every narrative to breathe, whether it was fair or not. Meanwhile, Karlissa's supporters doubled down. Clips of her speaking were reposted with captions framing her as a protective mother who finally said what needed to be said. Her tone was described as raw, emotional, and fed up. And for many viewers, that made it feel authentic. Emotion became evidence in their eyes. Even though emotion proves nothing on its own, critics, however, weren't buying it. They pointed out that emotional delivery doesn't guarantee accuracy. Some questioned why such serious allegations were aired publicly, instead of handled privately. Others warned that escalating accusations online could put everyone involved in danger. That pushback only made the discourse louder and more polarized. Blueface stayed mostly quiet, and his silence poured fuel on an already burning fire. When the alleged victim doesn't speak, the internet fills the gap aggressively. Some people framed his quiet as fear, others as control, and others as strategic avoidance. None of those interpretations were based on facts, but they spread anyway. The situation began to resemble a dysfunctional family reunion broadcast live to millions. Viewers compared it to reality shows where every conversation is filmed, except this time there were no producers tapping in. People joked that this made reality TV look scripted and calm by comparison. The sarcasm was sharp, but the underlying tension was real. Pop culture comparisons flooded timelines. Some likened the situation to celebrity feuds that spiraled because no one knew when to stop posting. Others compared it to cautionary tales where accusations explode publicly and leave permanent damage regardless of the truth. The consensus was simple. Once allegations hit the internet, there's no undo button. The louder the conversation got, the more distorted it became. People began attributing motives without evidence. Old rumors resurfaced as if they were new information. Past conflicts were treated like proof of present behavior. This is the dangerous phase where narratives replace facts entirely. What made this stage especially chaotic was how quickly the story stopped being about one alleged incident and became a referendum on belief. Who do you believe when a mother accuses a partner? Who gets automatic credibility? Who gets doubted? These questions don't stay theoretical online. They turn into personal attacks instantly. Supporters of Karlissa accused skeptics of minimizing alleged violence. Skeptics accused supporters of weaponizing emotion. Both sides spoke with absolute certainty, and neither side had confirmed information. The conversation turned moral instead of factual, which made compromise impossible. The memes grew darker. As outrage intensified, some crossed lines, others tried to pull things back. Platforms struggled to moderate a conversation built on allegations instead of evidence. The line between discussion and harassment blurred fast, and once that happens, damage spreads in every direction. At the same time, casual viewers grew exhausted. What started as shock turned into fatigue. People didn't know what to believe anymore, but they knew the situation felt toxic. That fatigue didn't stop engagement, it just changed its tone. Less curiosity, more cynicism. The phrase allegedly started disappearing from some discussions, replaced by definitive language that treated accusations as conclusions. That shift is always dangerous. Once the internet decides something is true, correction becomes almost impossible, even if new information appears later. Karlissa's words continued to echo through the conversation, replayed so many times they took on a life of their own. Context was lost. Tone was exaggerated, meaning shifted depending on who was sharing the clip. The original moment became unrecognizable through repetition. Behind all the noise, the real consequences began forming. Quietly, relationships strained under public pressure. Reputations took hits regardless of truth. Once allegations go viral, everyone involved pays a price, even if nothing is proven. The internet doesn't wait for outcomes, it creates them. This phase wasn't about resolution, it was about escalation, the point where emotions override logic. And every new post adds fuel instead of clarity. The story had officially outgrown the people at the center of it, and as outrage peaked, one thing became obvious. No matter what happened next, nothing would go back to normal. The internet had already decided this was bigger than one argument, one accusation, or one family dispute. This wasn't the explosion's end. It was the moment the fire spread beyond control, setting the stage for consequences no one could rewind. The fallout didn't arrive with a single headline or a neat conclusion. It rolled in slowly, like smoke after an explosion, filling every corner whether people wanted it there or not. The internet didn't calm down, it recalibrated. Loud outrage softened into judgment, and judgment hardened into something far more permanent. Once a narrative settles, it doesn't need volume to cause damage. Public perception shifted almost immediately. Karlissa was no longer just the outspoken mother people were used to seeing online. She became a symbol of parental fury, whether justified or reckless depending on who you asked. To supporters, she looked like a mother protecting her child at all costs. To critics, she looked like someone who escalated a volatile situation in the most public way possible. Nevaeh's name didn't escape unscathed, even without direct statements. Silence stopped being neutral and started being interpreted as strategy, shock, or guilt depending on the storyteller. That's the cruel part of online controversy. Not speaking doesn't pause the narrative. It hands it over to everyone else. And everyone else rarely shows mercy. Blueface's role in the aftermath became its own controversy. The absence of a clear response was read in 1,000 different ways, some saw restraint. Others saw avoidance. Some framed it as control, others as fear of making things worse. In internet logic, silence is always suspicious, even when it's the smartest option. As days passed, the tone of discussion grew colder. People weren't reacting anymore. They were forming conclusions. Comment sections turned from emotional battlegrounds into echo chambers. Once opinions lock in, they stop evolving. That's when reputations start taking long-term hits. The most damaging part wasn't the accusations themselves anymore. It was the permanence of them. Allegations don't need proof to live forever online. They just need repetition. Clips stayed archived, screenshots stayed searchable, and quotes were recycled until they lost their original context. The internet never forgets. It just rearranges. Karlissa's words continued to echo even when she wasn't speaking. Supporters repeated them as truth. Critics replayed them as evidence of recklessness. The original emotion got flattened into talking points. Once that happens, intent becomes irrelevant. What matters is how it's remembered. The situation also reshaped how people viewed family involvement in public relationships. Many pointed out how quickly private conflict turns explosive when relatives go public. Others argued that family intervention is inevitable when boundaries feel crossed. The debate wasn't really about this situation anymore. It became about power, access, and who gets believed when lines are allegedly crossed. What lingered most was discomfort. Not outrage, not shock, but unease. Allegations involving physical altercations aren't entertaining, no matter how messy celebrity culture becomes. The drama stopped feeling fun and started feeling heavy. That heaviness stuck. Attempts to move on felt forced across social media. New posts landed awkwardly. Engagement didn't bounce back instantly. Audiences were watching, but cautiously. Once trust cracks, everything feels staged, even when it isn't. Behind the scenes, consequences stacked quietly, relationships strained. Under scrutiny, opportunities paused or disappeared. Conversations that might have happened never did. None of this made headlines, but all of it mattered. Reputation damage doesn't need public announcements to be effective. The internet didn't choose a winner, but it did choose a memory. This moment became a reference point people brought up whenever similar drama surfaced. It turned into shorthand for how fast things can spiral when accusations meet social media. That's how scandals evolve into cautionary tales. What made this situation especially haunting was how unresolved it remained. No clear ending, no satisfying explanation. Just fragments and interpretations. The lack of closure kept the story alive longer than any confirmation could have. Unfinished narratives linger. Over time, outrage gave way to fatigue. People stopped arguing not because they agreed, but because they were exhausted. Exhaustion doesn't erase impact, it just quiets discussion. The damage stays even when the noise fades. The broader lesson settled in slowly. Allegations change everything the moment they go public, even when framed as concern or protection. They leave permanent marks. Once family drama crosses into accusation territory, there's no clean exit. As weeks passed, the internet moved on to new chaos, as it always does. But this situation didn't vanish, it stayed archived, bookmarked, and referenced. It became part of the digital history surrounding everyone involved. In the end, this wasn't a story with a clear hero or villain. It was a reminder of how quickly emotion can override restraint and how brutally public consequences can be. Once accusations hit the timeline, everyone loses something. Even if the truth never fully surfaces, this chapter didn't close with justice or clarity. It closed with damage, discomfort, and unanswered questions. And those are the endings that linger the longest online. If this situation had you leaning closer to the screen, replaying clips, or arguing with your phone like it could argue back, then welcome to the chaos that is modern celebrity culture. This is what happens when private conflict meets public platforms and emotions outrun restraint. One accusation, one reaction, and suddenly the internet turns into judge, jury, and commentator all at once. Now it's your turn, because the comment section is where the real debate lives. Do you think family members should publicly step in when they believe lines have been crossed? Or does that only make volatile situations worse? Where do you draw the line between protecting someone and escalating everything beyond control? Drop your thoughts below, but keep it sharp, honest, and respectful, because real people are at the center of this mess. If this breakdown delivered the tension, context, and drama you came for, smash that like button like it owes you money and keeps dodging your calls. Subscribe if you want stories that don't just repeat headlines but tear them apart, question motives, and expose how fast fame turns fragile. This channel doesn't play referee, it breaks down the play-by-play when everyone else is screaming. Because let's be real. Today it's one explosive accusation, tomorrow it's another scandal nobody saw coming. Celebrity drama doesn't slow down, and neither do we. When the next situation erupts and timelines start melting, you'll already know where to find the receipts and the real conversation. This is Fame Flaws, where family drama goes public. Allegations echo forever, and the internet proves one thing every single time. Once something hits the timeline, there's no such thing as taking it back.